Every time you step into a shop, you think you're making a bargain. You're wrong. You're actually paying an invisible tax to a clever syndicate without your knowledge. Look at that scale. Are you just seeing the numbers, or are you seeing a clever mathematical lie? For years and years, you've been paying for air. 5 grams per 100 grams is a fraud. It may seem insignificant to you, but do you have a calculation of how much money is just disappearing into thin air from your pocket every month? The shopkeeper is not your friend. He is an operator of this financial matrix. And you are a voluntary donor. Ask your ego, are you a conscious buyer, or are you a system slave who is being robbed with a smile? You have the ability to face the truth, right? It's a well-planned architecture. When you see 0 on the digital screen, scale rigging is not an isolated incident. You think the system is neutral. Wrong. The machine never lies, but the machine can be forced to lie. This is what I call mechanical lying. An invisible magnet under the scale, a fine thread stuck under the platform, or changing the calibration with a remote control. These are not fairy tales. They are everyday realities. When the shopkeeper carefully wraps the product in polythene and places it on the scale, you will notice that his little finger may negligently put a little pressure on the scale. Only a few grams of pressure, but on thousands of customers a day. By applying this little pressure, he is extracting illegal profits equivalent to an entire system at the end of the month. You are the silent sponsor of this invisible theft. You're just standing there watching, and without you knowing it, they've transformed mechanical engineering into a weapon of theft. The scale isn't just a machine, it's a tool. But the real trick isn't in the metal mechanism, it's hidden in the software in your own brain. Your attention is their real target. The theft happens in your head before it happens on the scale. When the shopkeeper suddenly asks about your child, or agrees with you about the high prices in the market, don't think he is befriending you. This is called cognitive diversion. The human brain cannot do 2 complex tasks at once perfectly. When you are formulating the answer to his smiling question, your neural processing deviates from the scale's reading. That 3 seconds of distraction is enough for them. He is smiling, talking, and his hands are very fast, removing a potato from the packet, or he is lifting the packet before it is weighed. This small talk is a psychological fog. He is manipulating your emotions so that your logical brain stops working. When you're paying the price and going home, you're not actually paying for the product. You're paying for his clever acting. The theft is happening in broad daylight. It's happening right in front of your eyes, yet you keep quiet, because they know how to imprison you in the social chain. You've understood the pattern of theft. You see that he's underweighting you, yet you keep quiet. Why? Because you're imprisoned in your own self-created prison of politeness. You've been taught since childhood not to argue, to be polite. This financial matrix is using your morality as a weapon against you. You're afraid. If you raise questions about the weight of 5 grams, will the rest of the buyers think you're snatching? This social shame is enough to make a hole in your pocket. The shopkeeper knows this psychological weakness of yours. He knows you're afraid of creating a scene. That's why he steals boldly. Because he knows your reform won't let you protest. It's not just a matter of a few grams of weight. It's about your submission. You're sending a message to the system every time you keep quiet. I'm willing to be robbed. When politeness becomes the reason for your exploitation, it's no longer a virtue. It becomes proof of your slavery. But the solution to this theft is not shouting. You can't beat the system with emotion. You need a silent protocol. This dark truth is hard to accept. You weren't just a buyer all this time. You were a donor to this system. They've made your faith a commodity. But be careful. Don't make any rash decisions driven by emotion. Fighting or shouting at the shopkeeper in the middle of the market is not your solution. You'll only humiliate yourself in public. The system will label you irrational and go back to its old game. Your first move will be to be quiet and professional. Become a silent auditor. You need to have data. Use a small pocket digital scale if possible. Whenever you have doubts after weighing, challenge the reading in a calm voice. No anger, no insults, just facts. If you were caught stealing, just take your money back and walk away. Don't listen to any excuses. Your silence will be their biggest threat. When you no longer consent, then their architecture of plunder will collapse. Remember, sovereignty begins in your pocket. Tolerating petty theft is to pave the way for big slavery. The question is, will you defend your rights as a conscious human being, or will you remain a weightless speck of dust on the scale? Are you still here? That means you're not distracted like the average buyer. You understand that the problem is not 5 grams or 10 grams. This message is not a motivational speech. This is your reality check. Those who have watched the video so far are not ordinary sheep of the system. You wanted to know the truth. Now it is time to bear the burden of that truth. The problem is your consent. Whenever you remain silent in the face of that theft, you signal to the system that you like to be exploited. That 5 grams of theft turns into many dollars a month without your knowledge. And in a year? In a year, that becomes a huge amount with which you could have fulfilled a dream of your family. But that money is now in the pocket of that clever operator. Your silence is the biggest fuel of that syndicate. They have taught you to believe that this much can go on. I say, no, it cannot go on. Learn to value your time. Do you know why they are so bold? Because they know you value emotion more than logic. You give away your pocket money for fear of social respect. That's what I call indoctrination. You have been taught to compromise since childhood, but remember, those who cheat on weight today, tomorrow they will cheat you on big financial decisions. This is a financial matrix. Every village, every penny here is part of an invisible war. If you accept defeat in this small war, you will not survive in the big war of sovereignty. Your money is not just paper. It is the time spent in your life. Why should someone else carelessly plunder your hard work? Learn to value your own time. My advice is simple. Next time you go to the market, don't go as an ordinary shopper. You will go as a system auditor. Your eyes will be on the market, and your ears will be on the shopkeeper. Whenever you have doubts, protest. Your language of protest will be cool and mathematical. No chaos, just break their lies with data. When you become aware, then you will no longer be a victim. You will become sovereign. Your awareness is the only way to break this invisible chain. Remember, knowing the truth is easy, but walking the path of truth is difficult. Do you have that courage? The decision is yours.